Alright, welcome. I'm going to make a picture based on just feelings alone, with no preconditions, preset plan, anything like that. Changing tools often, just let it evolve. Okay, now I'm kind of feeling like this could be in the distance. What if this were like a night piece? I'm not sure I want to see things from a distance. Draw. It has the stretch on, which I don't like. Who would want to draw with stretch on? So we can kind of possibly feel out some forms here, the way we want our picture to look, frame for it, possibly. I don't like the line gradient, so I'm going to turn that one off. What is brow? Let's see what brow is. Kind of interesting, I guess. Let's see. Is this working? Yeah, good. I don't know about brow. I mean, it could be potentially a good thing. We'll just have to see. If we added, I want to be subtle with color. I don't want anything to be too over the top too fast. Now I'm going to go back to more subtle colors. I don't want to spend too much time on anything. And try to get a sense of atmosphere in here. What if this were like, bush, sponge. Gotta watch out for these greens. Might not want them at all in the picture. Maybe I'm at sea in a pirate ship or something. Okay, chisel. Let's go to something that has some color variation on it. I like to choose my own color variation rather than if you can see. Oh, I'll need to change this texture saturation to get any kind of color variation here. Now get some nice color variations. What if there was a bright kind of light coming down in here? What if maybe it's storm clouds? Maybe we can get some opacity on that. Nice. Okay. What if we had this, taking a look, stepping away from your canvas sometimes can be a good thing. I have no idea what I'm doing, and that's what makes it fun and interesting to me. Just working from imagination. How do I want this to evolve? And really, I can change it repeatedly. There's no set rule on it. Okay, line radial. If we some of that, maybe we could have some dark greens. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Cover them up. What if this had like a brightness? Oh, my opacity's down. That's what was weird about it. What if it was like something like this? We could dry that smudge in there, cross hatch it. What if we used Marco Bucci's brush I've adapted here? It's a playful brush. Gotta make sure it makes sense in the context of what I'm doing. Let me use it a little bit though. Maybe we want some like toned down desaturated reds. If I made this smaller, it might help. I'm not sure. Okay. Dark. It's like a low-key piece, isn't it? Turn my screen brightness up. Definitely want to make sure your picture still works at a little bit higher of a screen brightness than when it's turned up all the way. So you might want to turn it down from time to time just a little bit. Check that. Whoa, bright. Kind of cool. Whoa, strength. Bring that down. Size, bring that down. Go to some oils. Man, that screen is bright. Okay. I'm going to kind of stop talking a little bit. See, I don't have any, it's a flat picture. Like, I tend to get caught up in this, where it gets flat, and I'm just looking straight on. It's boring. So how can we add depth? Well, let's think about it. How do we add depth? How can we make it seem like it's maybe sweeping across the screen? Okay? Now, how do we do this? Let's cut this up. Now let's a little bit of smudge action. Dropper. Okay. I'm kind of liking the feeling. Is there a character in here we can find? We want to get some pathos. What if in here was a kind of witch-like face? And what if it had some darker Some darker tones down there. What if it, let's get a few darks. What if this, we got some smudge here. What if you just smudge that in there a little bit? Why does that go down so slow? Okay, draw. I like how that goes up faster. What is it using for my draw? It's using that. I could use something like that. It's not exactly a draw tool. This does work. Other than those little hooks at the end. I don't like that. If we use this one, maybe we can turn up texture saturation. Let's see what that looks like. It kind of slowly builds up on itself. Okay, this is like boring here because it's like same. Maybe we could add some value differences going back in there. Add in some, maybe a couple red notes. Blend that in. Okay, just some variations. Smudge thicket. Okay, now what's happening here? I want a sense of going back into a vanishing point. Now, let me see if I can, I wish I could just move a part of the picture. That would be cool. Whoa, liquefy. That's weird. I thought it's supposed to move things around. Liquefy doesn't do that? Weird. What if we did it like a brown, dark brown? Well, that's a weird tool. Last time I checked, it worked differently. Okay, so this, whoa, back on liquefy. Line radial. What if we did like this and then went smudge? See, I'm just trying a lot of different things. And that spirit of just trying things, this app, Heavypaint, really lends itself well to just experimenting. Okay, I kind of like this figure, but he's too, or she is too high up in the screen in order to be good. Okay. Maybe in order to give the illusion that it's far away, maybe we don't want all that. Maybe we can have some kind of speckles in there. Let's raise the size on that. Blend it in a little bit. Gives it like a watery kind of effect. I still want to keep getting the distance in there even more. Maybe we can bring that some lightness to bear. I don't really care that I'm covering up stuff. I want it to really feel like it's coming down. Zoom out. Okay. Smudge dry. What if we went none? Draw. In doing all this, it can be easy to get frustrated with things not really working out how you want, how you see it in your head. Just keep at it. Keep changing things. Don't feel tied down to anything. I'm in too early of a stage to feel tied down. Okay, what if there is something else in here? What if we smudged it out? What if there was some variation in here? It's already becoming a little more dynamic. What if okay, now this is kind of uniting the sky. There will be some kind of cooler notes in there. I'm not too sure about greens yet. Yeah, I do need some more variations in here. What am I feeling? About a deep saturated purple over here. And then maybe deep dark blue. Okay. If we went to a hatch now, and then added some warms on top of here. What if we darken that down, push that back? What if we push this back into the atmosphere? A little smudge on that. Strength, blur. I don't know if that's even working at all. Why isn't that working? It's not even doing any smudging. Oh, maybe it's because I have that on. Still not working. So weird. Nothing. That sucks. So on smudge. Weird. Not a darn thing. Strange. Oh well. Go back. Whoa. Going back does the tools changes. Alright. So dry brush. What setting am I on? Let's get some of this. Turn this down. Okay. What if this person is like on a rock? Like perched up there or something? I don't know if this purple really fits the mood of the piece. This is quite dark. We'll turn down the screen brightness. Yeah, it's very dark. I'm going to work on it like this just to try to get some light into it. I don't want anything to be gaudy, so let's try some of these colors in here. Okay, about this. We definitely do want some atmosphere. Let me bring this opacity down and bring it up. Add some atmosphere in here behind the character, even in the middle of it there. Add some. Okay, now it's starting to feel like there is some atmosphere. Now let's bring our opacity back up. Whoa! Chalk brush. What can we do with this one? Okay. Maybe we can. Being able to see what you're doing at a distance is very helpful. Let's see what this does. Okay, it has some nice variations. Maybe we can add some shapes in here. Maybe we can even throw in some of these greens over here. Get a sense of perspective right here. Just give the illusion of perspective. Not being attached to what you're doing is an important thing to do here. I'm wanting a kind of toned down palette in this piece. Let me go back. I love it that you can undo it without crashing now. That's so wonderful. It used to crash when you undid. So annoying. And then you'd lose your work sometimes. Ugh. The bad old days. But I kept playing with this program because I just loved it. Okay. Now what do we see here? We have like a cinematic kind of vision. It's kind of a dark vision. Maybe this comes down. Maybe this is like Angel of Death. I don't know. Now we have two characters that are roughly the same size. That's not good. You want some variation, right? So I'm going to cut that down in size. It's kind of a nighttime, it's feeling like a nighttime scene. So what if we just threw in, just to see how it looked, a yellow moon or something. Tone it down. If it was over there. What if it's just small on the horizon? I kind of like the way it looks. Leave it for now. Why not? It adds a little bit of mystery and some interest. Okay, so we have some reds. Maybe we can repeat those reds over here, just more desaturated for some more interest. Everything is going to be going down towards the vanishing point, so we can add some depth into it. And these little spots of near blackness are for variation. But do we want to make them like straight rectangles? That's kind of boring, you know? So maybe throw off the shapes, change up the shapes, mixture of rectangle and curves and straights. Don't have to know what anything is exactly. Just using this fill tool to add some perspective lines in here, just to get the feeling of going back into space, right? And what if we had some yellow? What if there was a yellow on top here? How about a blue too? Mixing those warms with the cools. What if we had like an edge lighting on this character? Kind of subtle. I don't know. And break it up a little bit with this blur tool. Okay, why? It shouldn't be like this. Let's go back. It should be on. I hate it when it gets switched up like that. Okay. But compared to the problems that this program used to have when it had a bunch of bugs being worked out, this is like a dream. Okay, this. What if had some contrast in here? What about we had some dark? We carried out this purple over here. We get the strength up. Blur and strength. There we go. That's nice. Kind of like a cloud. These are kind of like buildings. What if we got some grays? Got some grays in here. Okay. Let me go back, get a sense of what I'm doing. Not a direct sense, but an indirect sense. Changing things up here and there. A good thing. Let me even raise the screen brightness down even more. Zoom in. And what if these are going back here? Break it up. Break up the shapes. And then blur it out a little bit. Give it some atmospheric pull. Cut into these shapes a little bit. Cut down into those shapes. What if we had some yellow, some orange, just in some spots over here? If we had some lead-in lines, lead-in shape, no, it's boring. Something in the front kind of makes it look staged, doesn't it? Just try these things out. Sometimes if you have like let's say we have an orange kind of log here or something leading to our center of interest that draws attention, can be good. When you have your screen brightness down, it really shows you the graphic read of your image better, of how it will appear on other people's monitors. You can turn it back up, but it's good to get that nailed down. Okay, oils. I did this one. It has a nice variation of texture. If I threw in some of these purples, I don't even know if that fits in the harmony of the scene. Definitely gives a variation, doesn't it? Let's balance it out with some reds, oranges. Let's get some of these blacks in here. Kind of a dark image, isn't it? What if we had some birds flying around? You know what I mean? Some ominous birds flying around in here. Like that. Maybe had one sitting up on this one here. He's looking down. Well, you couldn't be able to really tell it from that angle. That's okay. Maybe this guy has like a green tunic or a yellow-green tunic, very dark. It shows up against the sky. I don't know about this kind of perch he's on. Maybe you should just make it a full figure. I kind of want to make this scary now that I've okay, the silhouette. The silhouette is everything. Maybe it's a kind of straight against a little bit more complex on this side. It looks like he's wearing a backpack or something, which is not scary. But what should the character be doing? Maybe this could be like a bird kind of thing. Now it's becoming part of the background. Maybe it doesn't need a backpack. Maybe it's like a dead woman, a ghost. a ghost of a woman, and her face is shrouded by like a shawl. Make her more mysterious. Maybe she's even toned like a pale green color. Pale green. Maybe that same kind of green is illuminating this guy. With this brush I have, it gives natural color variation. You have to change it. If you just select the color, it's too dark. So what you can do is lighten it up. But that gives you a lot of color variation. So that's what's cool about it. Pushing and pulling against, the happy accidents you get from it. Okay, that should sit more back. You need to lighten it up. Make it sit back. We have some straights in here for texture. Maybe we can smudge that out a little bit. Okay, this is kind of looking a little bit cool now. Maybe we can go over here to the bush tool. Oh, I don't know about this brow thing. Let me take that off. I don't like the chisel much. Rake dots either. Okay. Let's see. What can I do? What can I add into here? Okay, maybe let's go to chalk. Maybe her dress kind of comes down and her hand is covered. Maybe she's a little bit taller. Emphasize that distance. Emphasize her height. Make her a little more imposing. Maybe her hands coming out. And maybe there's like a light. Maybe there's like a purple light emanating from here. Maybe she's a sorcerer summoning an orb or something. And then what if we got the fill gradient and then brought it here? No. What if we took the saturation or the opacity down, start it here in the middle, and then just give it a little bit of a glow. And then it's too much. If we purple, pink. Well, I think that is a kind of failed idea. It's alright. I think her hand is not that scary, so I think it coming down is probably best. And then maybe this is like a lizard, like one of those Galapagos kind of lizards that you see. And what if we made the light just a little bit more bright in there? Let's zoom in on it, keeping in mind what we're trying to depict. And also, it comes up. Think about what a lizard looks like. It's got that snout, right? And then it kind of comes up. It's a little bit serpentine. And then zoom back out. Maybe it comes up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. But then it has its arms coming out. It has its shoulders. Okay, it's also going to be kind of greenish. And maybe it kind of comes down. Maybe the tail kind of comes out at you like this. And then let's cover up this spot in here. What if it's like climbing up onto a rock to get a better perch spot? And what if it's too green? Let's make it more yellow, darker. Now let's get some of those darks. Okay. I kind of like the S shape, but I feel it should come out more this way maybe, and then come back that way. So it's not just a straight S curve. It's got some variation to it. See how that feels. Maybe it should be a little bit wider, a little bit more menacing. Now it's going to need some darks on which it's kind of perching. Some more darks in there. Maybe it's a whole kind of stand deal. These are like some really, maybe she's carrying a staff. Maybe she's walking with the staff. Maybe she has like a wide sleeve. Maybe we can do the fill gradient Add some halo around that moon. Maybe we can even give her a little bit of a halo, or at least a rim lighting over here. Let's go to the hatch. And then zooming out, don't want anything to be so obvious. Maybe there is other stuff going on back here. Oh, its arm wouldn't be that high up. It would be kind of coming down here. It would be similar in color. And then it would have a black note in there, maybe. Working from imagination is tricky. It really is. But it's fun. Now, what about her other arm? If she had this kind of dress, it would kind of poof out a little bit on this side too, wouldn't it? Maybe she's walking. Maybe she's standing still and looking at something down here on the ground. And then let's get her shadow, because the moon will be casting, she'll be casting a shadow from the moon. So let's give her that dark shadow in there. Same thing with the lizard guy. Her kind of sidekick. Even this log will have some of this and let me turn up the screen brightness. This leg will come around. It's kind of climbing. I have not studied these kind of animals' structure. I'm just going based on intuition. Now, this whole thing would be in a shadow, wouldn't it? Let's bring the opacity down around to here, because I kind of like those boxes there or whatever in that area. Right, now that my screen brightness is up, I can see things a little bit better. But I also know the image is going to work when a person looks at the image, say in bright sunlight. Even with your screen brightness up, it can be hard to see in bright sunlight. So you want your image to carry regardless. So I definitely want a feeling of like ominousness. So what if, okay, what if, gotta zoom out. My eye is getting caught over here. So we need something to kind of block it, but subtly so. We don't want it to be obvious what's happening. So maybe something here. It kind of has a dark, ominous feel. And then we're kind of getting the sense that the landscape curves over here, leads to her. So we do want that. We do want that to be carried forward into space. Back here in the distance, we want more atmosphere. So we can pull this down and add some okay, let's bring the opacity back up. Let's bring the value up. Bring that value up. Right. So we got some things in the distance back there for added interest and to give a little bit of depth. Okay, back here would probably be some blues, some purples. Oh, I feel like I'm destroying it. Go back. Let's bring it up. Okay, bring it up. If you want these brushes, I'll sell them to you for like $2 or $3. I don't care. It'd be nice to make some money because I spent a long ass time making each one separately with most of them, a lot of them have thick paint kind of features with color variation and everything. Okay, I just messed something up in there. If you feel like you're messing up, just hit the undo button. Don't mess your picture up when you've gotten to a certain place. Feel free to keep, painting over until you're starting to get your image down, and then start to slow down and judge a little bit more wisely when you do want to. I want him to be a little bit haloed, but I don't want it to be an obvious thing. Just mess with his silhouette. Okay, so now what is another part of this tree that can come up? I want it to be like rickety, not rickety, but spooky kind of. And I'm not very good at that kind of thing. It's just like the lizard thing. Just imagine what it would be like. I want her dress to be a little darker because she is a very dark figure. I want her hands to be a little closer to her body. Not that close, something like that. And then is she carrying a cane? Maybe her hand is extending out. Maybe she has like a crooked old cane. Think about where her weight would be and how she would carry a cane. It's like an old witch We can have her leaning on the cane. Have her leaning a little bit. Taking her weight. Maybe you can see through a spot right there in his arm. Gives you a little more clue of what's in that, what that animal is. I don't know, the picture is kind of cool, but I'm not quite as good yet as I want to be, so I'm struggling with thinking of how I can develop it even further. This tree over here is kind of bothering me. I'm thinking of what I can do to this area to make it more scary. Okay, so she's going to have her hands and then another. How is that going to work? It's going to kind of come down like that. She's going to have her hand by her side here. We've got these birds flying. The lizards may be looking up at him, wishing he could eat them for dinner, for a late night, midnight snack. Let's see what else is happening. I don't like necessarily the bluish purple glow around him, so I want to make that a little less obvious by painting in a little bit like that. Bring that value up, and then maybe smudge it a little bit. Just make the halo a little less obvious. See how it changes based on what I do to it, due to the silhouette. I guess it's feeling pretty good. Let's bring some reds into this log. I need to bring the value up. It's going to be darker than it appears. Maybe adjust that a little bit. Smudge it in a little bit. Let me see. Come in here. Adjust some of these lines. Come in here. Her fingers are over. Her fingers are clamped over the top of it. So definitely want to give that impression that she's holding it in her hand. There's a thumb in there somewhere. like that. And then this is going to come down. Now think about shape. Think about this negative shape. It's got to conform kind of to a human being. If you make it kind of like this, then, well, it looks like she's got big hips. But to make it clear that it's a woman, you do want the hips to be a little bit bigger like that. A triangular point here at this point will be a little more scary. And then what if we threw some fill gradient on this? What happened to it? The opacity's down. What if her face is kind of obscure? And what if she had like yellow eyes? What if she had red eyes? Makes her look demonic, doesn't it? Okay, what if we continued this theme of the tree, but have a background one? Have one that you can tell is the same kind of deal, but it's just farther away. That will also give you an impression of distance. It'll also give the impression of a more barren, arid landscape. If we take the opacity down, we can add some atmosphere to it. That. All right, what else? Maybe let's add some deeper red, darker red kind of structures, like bricks in here. Just to get, and not totally uniform, breaking it up a little bit. And more so closest to us. Deepen that value down. A little more closest to us, like that maybe. And then some vertical strokes. Gives it a little texture. Gives it the feeling of being a material rather than just a color shape. Also adds some value to it. Okay, I want to solidify that edge. Maybe that also can be taken out like that. Okay, I have a feeling maybe we have some warms back in here. An ambiguity of warms and cools in the distance. It's an implication that there are things back there. So it looks like she could be taking a step forward. Look how creepy this is starting to look. And isn't it cool that you can do things like this all just from imagination? You can do it too. Give it a shot. Just download the Heavypaint app. Give it a try. Don't need a credit card. Just try it out, and shoot me a message if you want my entire brush set. All these for, say, $3. Help me out too as a creator. And I promise these brushes are pretty awesome. You can delete the ones you don't like, or don't use that much, and have a backup with all of them. And just take a few that you do like. Okay, this is going to be coming back towards her hand. She's holding it out. Maybe her face is illuminated by a kind of mysterious glow. Maybe her nose is illuminated a little bit. Make it reddish. Coming out over the shadow. And that kind of makes her look like a clown, doesn't it? You just try things and then see how it works. I want her face to look a little more skeletal, so cut in on her cheek. And then I want to give her a shadow. So let's bring up the opacity. Maybe extend this rock out. Maybe bring that opacity all the way up. Maybe this rock comes out. Whoa, what am I doing? Thought I had this color. The rock, he's getting a dark shadow from that moon here. His feet here, he's trying to scale it. It's going to mostly be in shadow. Look at that. You wouldn't think you'd be able to do a large lizard like that from imagination, but you'd be surprised what is in your visual library already. You just have to find out what's in it, and then by seeing, like after this, I might want to go look at some of these Galapagos Island, giant lizards, and or just ordinary lizards. Get a bunch of them and just put them up for reference. And try to draw a few composites of them, the basic structure of them, stuff like that. So by working from imagination, you realize what you already have in your visual data bank and what you need to continue to work on. Maybe there's another one here. They're like her birds, so I'll get it coming this way and then get it coming that way. No, that's too close to her. Maybe one above. Maybe a larger one above. Like that? Yeah. And then cut in a little bit here. It's kind of looking down, and maybe it's got its feet coming down here a little bit. Yeah, I can live with that. Then let's make this cloud a shape. Let's bring some shape language into these clouds. Also fit it into the context. Think about a circular composition. Lead your eye around here. See how I'm thinking about that? So I'll put another cloud right in here with a semblance of one. I don't want this light here at the corner to attract your eye. Just get something that gives a feeling of perspective going out this way. Composition is all about how to move your eye around the picture. So this side would be more dark since it's away from that moonlight. You don't have to have the line go all the way. It starts to straighten as it gets closer to you. Gives you a little bit of a feeling of perspective in there. Maybe just a semblance of a line over here. And then maybe just take the smudge brush, the drawing tool, and interrupt those nice straight lines a little bit. Don't want anything too perfect. And then maybe I'll cast a shadow. Maybe I'll cast a shadow here. Take the opacity down. Yeah. Add some drama to that building. Don't want to overdo it. Something like that. Add some more shadow over here, where his leg is kind of obscured. Part of his body is more obscured in the shadow. Maybe add some shadows over here, where the tree is getting the shadow from the moon. Maybe we're going to have more shadows over here in this suggestion of a tree. Maybe we'll have, I don't want the trees necessarily coming out of his body. This is actually turning out into a pretty decent piece, I think. It's kind of cool. I don't necessarily like this other tree here. No big deal. bring the opacity up and get rid of it. Remember, the lizards have kind of an eye thing that comes out the side of their head quite a lot. So that will help it read lizard more. One thing I can add is a thing I can add is an edge lighting on her dress here, and emphasize it on her hand, coming out in a different direction. Not too much. It comes down on her hand. Zoom in so I can see where her fingers are. Get it like that. Then let's change the color a little bit, make it more warm for the stick. Cut it in here. And then have it catching a little bit more right here. I don't want to overdo this. So I'll just give it the suggestion there. And then for this part, let's do it green. And have it kind of tapering off there as it comes down. Maybe a lizard. The lighting will come down, cut into its neck a little bit there. I don't like how this tree is. See how so much in art is just, I don't like this, and then you change it. Because it's all you. You are the creator. You are the inventor of your picture. It's all you when you're working from imagination. What is your vision for the piece? Okay. So over here in this corner, I'm kind of liking the way the tree looks, but it does still need a little work. Go to the draw tool, go down. What can I add to it? Make it more scary. This is like a hillside going up here. So maybe there's fog, and maybe there's an indication of some kind of something going on up there. But be sort of like that. Just literally making it up as I go along. My criterion is what satisfies me aesthetically. It's my only concern. What if So this implication is that it's a pretty tall tree and going off the screen. You think about real trees that you've seen in your life when you're doing these trees, it might help. Okay, by it coming back this way, I don't know if I necessarily like that. What if it instead came out this way? And maybe there was another one behind it. I really don't like the shape of it. Maybe a little sparser. I don't want it so dark. There's a gesture to these trees that you gotta find out what works for the picture. Maybe there's one right back here in the distance on top of that cliff. It's really hard to say. Oh, and maybe there's a bird sitting back there. Maybe there's another bird on this one. Yeah, now it's starting to look kind of scary. I don't want this circular composition to be too obvious. So let me disrupt that a little bit. Knock it around. You never want your composition to be too obvious. Always try to cover your tracks. I'm smudging here. Smudging, smudging, smudging. What if now he looks like a hornbill platypus? Give it a little bit more of a jaw, maybe. What if we gave it a tongue? We gave it a tongue flashing. I don't know if that even really makes sense or reads in the picture. It's kind of hissing at the woman. No, I'm going to take it out. I think it works, just him kind of looking back at her. See, when you have an eye gaze like that, That makes you look over here to her. It also works as a compositional device to get you working around the picture. And these birds getting smaller also give you an indication of relative size and scale. These trees back here in the distance give you a sense of atmosphere. So I think I'm going to take that one out. Just step back. Take that one out. Have some grass here. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling it. Kind of feeling the color and light of this piece. We'll turn it up all the way. Screen brightness. Kind of finishing up now because I don't want to overwork it. I want to keep that freshness. Probably one of my best works from imagination. Definitely not a waste of time doing this. It really exercises your brain and your imagination. I mean, because you're pulling all this stuff from, you know what? Well, from your memory bank, from your imagination, and you're taking everything you've seen, every movie, every image, every composition. Let me see if I can adjust this rock, make it a little more interesting in silhouette, make it a little clearer that that's what he's on, rock. And then let me get that shadow to be a little bit more solid. You're not going to see his silhouette. Maybe we'll see it. Okay, this shadow from this cane is not going to be that big. You might get a little bit of a wrinkle. You might get it a little bit coming in here, and then like that, coming out like that. Always think about the shapes you're making. Make sure they're interesting and suit the mood of your piece. In this case, it's kind of a dark piece. Now, I also want to get a fill gradient, darken this general area up so that it's not so glaring where the shadows, hard edges where the shadows fall. Right? Something like that. Get rid of that blue spot. Now I'm just touching up little minor things. Getting ready to call it quits on this piece, which is a good feeling. No, it's not a masterpiece, but I've done a lot of these works from imagination, and I tell you, you get better with each one. Each one you learn something. At first, when you do them, you're going to suck. You're going to suck really bad, I promise. But you just keep after it, try to have fun. Listen to music, fantasy music. Like in a case like this, you might want to listen to like horror music. I looked up fantasy instrumental, no ads on YouTube. I'm listening to one right now. It's just nice, soothing fantasy music. It's like 3 hours, no ads, and it's got different songs that change. So it's not just the same thing over and over. So look for something like that. That can help to spark your imagination while put you in the mood while you're in doing these. Okay, let me blur that, smudge that a little bit, blur that a little bit. Just get a vibe feeling here. I don't know what these things are, but I don't really like them. Let me draw them out. Alright, check that out. Kind of cool. I'm proud of it. Now, when I put it on my phone, when I post it, I'll probably see about 1,000 things I want to change. But you can always come back and change it. Just seeing your work small sometimes really helps. Okay, don't smudge things to death. Don't smudge it until it's just a soft blur. That sometimes you want to just be gentle with your your smudging and your blurring. Give it a little, keep a little texture in there. I like the texture over here, kind of implies stars. It's more cloudy over here, so you're not seeing them, but who knows, maybe we could add a few touches. We could add a few touches in here. We can add a few. Touches. Blur it a little bit, smudge it a little bit, I mean. Just to have a sense of continuity. But there's still stars in the sky on this side as well. Just not as pronounced. It's mostly cloudy. With a chance of meatballs? No. Okay. Yeah, I think we can call that one. I think we can call it done. At least for now. Because it is getting late here. His fingers will be extended. So I want the rock to come out right in there. He's kind of flexing. That tree is going to come down there. All right, look at that. Cool. If I don't say so myself. All right, all it's left to do at the end is, you know what? Little tiny details. What color should we sign it? Blood red? How about neon green? You can try a few different things. I kind of like the sky color. What's scary? Scariest may be just the... Can't even see that. Scariest may be the blood red. You know what? I may even make a new layer for this, just in case I want to move it somewhere else later.